Check, 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 mic. Good. Okay. If you're here, say hi in the chat. Hello, if anybody's here, please say hi in the chat box, and we'll get started in a few minutes. This is our Vinyasa Yoga and mantra practice, and my name's Noelle. so glad you're here. Yay. If anyone else is here, say hello. I see there's 3 of you now. Yay, I miss you. Ooh, I'm hugging you. Did you get that? Hi everybody. Those of you just joining, this is going to be Vinyasa Yoga and Mantra with me, with Noelle. If you have requests, you can type them in the chat box. I've got the chat going up here on my phone so I can see. I'm just going to move this frame down a little bit. There we go. Hips and shoulders, sure thing. Yes, we can. We're waiting on Trisha. Trisha, are you here? And Beth, if there's an echo from my phone, please let me know. I'm trying to find a way to look at the chat on my phone and be streaming from the computer at the same time. So if it sounds good, then that'll be awesome. Okay, Trisha says she's here. Trisha, I'm gonna get off of Facebook and I'm in the chat for YouTube. So if there is an echo, that's a bummer. Okay, well, since Trisha's here, Trisha, meet Beth, Trisha. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this chat off on my phone so that there's no echo. Okay, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, well, welcome. Hi, ladies, and if there's anybody else here, hello to you as well. This is Vinyasa Yoga and Mantra with Noelle. I'm so excited to be here with you all for 90 minutes. I love a good long yoga class because it gives us time to have a chat, to do a Dharma talk and talk about yogic philosophy, which I think is so important, especially right now. And then we can go through our movement practice with plenty of time to work on our breath, pranayama practices, meditation, and mantra or chanting. So if, Trisha, if you're new to this mantra and chanting business, this thing I have in front of me here is a harmonium, and you may have seen me play it before. And this is just a tool for us to connect more deeply with the vibration of sound as energy. And from a yogic philosophy perspective, every single thing in the universe is made up of energy, and those energies that interplay are called gunas. That's Gunas, and that word gunas means that which binds. So there's rajasic energy, which is kinetic energy and movement, and it can create imbalance if in excess. Then there's tamasic energy, which is thick, heavy, stagnant, and still, and that can also create imbalance when there's too much. And then there's sattvic energy, which is light, harmonious, and in and of itself balanced. Now, those three energies are present in everything all of the time, and everything is constantly changing and shifting. And that is absolutely, undeniably present right here and right now, when nothing is certain and everything is changing. We're having to change the way that we interact with one another. We're having to change our daily routines. We're having to change pretty much everything about our lives as they were to now. So people keep talking about getting back to normal, but that's just not going to happen because there's this new normal now. And that can be really challenging for a lot of people. A lot of us are worried about making enough money to support ourselves and our families. A lot of us are worried that we won't be able to physically touch one another again. We might be worried about 10 million things. And because of that, on a collective level, we might be experiencing anxiety, and we might be experiencing depression, and all of the old trauma patterns that we've experienced in our lives are coming back up. Because when we are forced to slow down and to stop, all of these things rise to the surface. And then eventually, stillness occurs. So we can either fight against it and grip ourselves and tense ourselves and hold on super tight and suffer, because if we think that we have any control over what's going on, then that can be really kind of defeating and disconcerting. So that creates a lot. Or we could work on ourselves. So what's in our sphere of influence, right? The only thing that is certain is this moment. And the only thing that we have control over is our self. So not the things that happen to us, because that's outside our sphere of influence, but we can, through these practices, train ourselves to control our reaction, okay? Because when we react, often that's that reword. It means that we're kind of playing out something that happened before. So instead of us reacting to something, perhaps we can just observe and allow whatever is true and real and right for us in the moment to come up. And there are a heck of a lot of triggers right now. So why not take this time to notice the energy and the emotions that happen when the trigger occurs, and use that as information to inform the depth of our personal practice and getting to know ourselves on a deeper level, and finding what self with a capital S means. Self or source or spirit or great spirit or universe or God, whatever you want to call it. There is a place within us that is also part of us that does not change. And we can think about that as the 5 layers of being. In yogic philosophy, there's 5 layers of being, and you can think about it as nesting dolls. They're called Koshas, Koshas. And if you're interested in learning more about the Koshas specifically, I have another video that's on my YouTube channel that's free if you want to try that. It's the 5 Koshas and a pranayama practice and a chanting practice. So the layers of being that we have are split into the earthly layers, the body, the mind, and energy that's constantly changing. And then the heavenly layers, as they are called, which include our intuition and our divine spirit. And both our intuition and our spirit are without form and unmanifest. And so that means that they aren't subject to the fluctuations of energy and they don't change. So that can be a place of true solace, peace, and bliss. And that is available to us anytime we want to. So that's why these practices are so important, especially really harnessing the power of our breath to shift how we feel and how we think. And because our thoughts become who we truly are. So as much as we can, acknowledging when we're having negative thoughts and when we're feeling really down, and using the practices to find that neutral space again. And that's so important. It's really a wonderful opportunity for us, even though it's uncomfortable, to go deeper, okay? And when we go deeper, regardless of if we're in despair or if we feel contracted or if we feel lost, when we go within and we are brave enough to really feel everything that we're feeling and to give ourselves time to sit with it so that it can be loved and acknowledged. They call that the shadow aspect of ourselves in yoga. And shadow doesn't mean bad or evil. It just means that we have not yet shown the light on that aspect of ourself that is just as worthy as love as every other part of ourselves. That's why they call it the shadow. So when we can really look at our shadow, we grow so much, and we transmute everything that is unfulfilling back to love. And I don't mean love necessarily in a romantic context. I mean universal, pure, divine love. The love that no one can give you or take away from you. The true nature of our cosmic, multidimensional self. Because we, I think, are God, we are sovereign, and we are free. And so these practices help us to get back there. So I'd love to talk about the self as coming home to the heart. And so we'll do some heart openers, and Beth requested some shoulder openers and some hip openers. And those are two really, really big gateways to the heart chakra itself. So the energy center of the heart is right here in the center of the chest, where your physical heart is, but also your spiritual heart, which is called Hrydaya. So I'm going to offer one of the sutras from a 16th century text called Recognition of the Heart, or Pratyabhjina Hrydaya. So that helps me to remember that even when we feel lost, even when we feel uncertain, even when we feel contracted, we have the opportunity to remember our power. And that power is just the recognition of energy, because divine energy is called Shakti, but that word Shakti means power. So therefore, if we can recognize that everything is made of energy and everything is changing, that this too will pass. And in that moment, we reclaim our power, that's our birthright, and we can make the universe our own, okay? Because the universe is just filled with love. So, and I think that that's truly simply what we are on a fundamental and cosmic level, and who we are and how we're connected. So they're in the Pratyabhjina Hrydaya, which is the 16th century tantric text. And tantra, I don't mean crazy sex. I mean the philosophy that includes celebrating our bodies in this life as gifts from God while we are here, as also ways to connect with that higher consciousness and that self, and part of consciousness itself. Tantra teaches us that pure consciousness includes every single thing we think, experience, do, take in, and our physical bodies and our minds and the energy that flows through us and everything. Okay, so this Pratyabhjina Hrydaya is 20 phrases, sutras, aphorisms that remind us of the heart. We can remember our heart. We can remember our true nature. We can remember that we are unconditional divine love itself. And so I'd love to start our practice with sutra number 15. It says, in attaining one's power, one makes the universe one's own. In attaining power, one makes the universe one's own. So what that means for me is, and this is translation help from my teacher, Bill Mahoney. In attaining power, let's talk about that phrase. In attaining power, that means that we can, rather than, kind of wallowing around in hopelessness that we have no possible way to control what we're thinking and we're feeling, and we just maybe move to some other unhealthy coping mechanisms. If we stay in that place and we continue to bring ourselves down and we continue to perpetuate that victim mentality, like, woe is me, this is happening to me, there's nothing I can do, I should just blame everybody and I should just spew and project fear out. Even in that space, we can remember that we have the power to feel a particular way. Ultimately, it's going to take a lot of work, but that energy that's coming through is inviting us to listen. And when we can just simply listen with it and be present with it and be honest, oh, I'm feeling a lot of fear and anxiety. I'm really irritated right now and I'm feeling very triggered. That's when we reclaim our power. That's how we attain our power, is simply by just noticing what is, period. By noticing what is, we are being honest. We're practicing satya, or truthfulness, which is one of the ethical constructs in this practice of yoga. It's one of the yamas, how we relate and how we show up in the world. So in attaining power, meaning when we are conscious of what is happening truly in the present moment, one makes the universe one's own. What that means to me is that we accept what's happening and then we just love the hell out of it. And when we accept what we're feeling and who we truly are, noticing the layers of shame and guilt and all of that stuff that comes with it, but allowing it to be there and not being afraid of it and not looking away, then we make the universe our own, because we remember that it's all love in the first place. The forgetting, the disconnection, the fear, the anxiety is just as much a part of consciousness itself as the love and the light and the rainbows and the unicorns and the bliss. And it's only because of the harder, shadow stuff that we feel so good in the lighter stuff, okay? But we've got to be able to see, sit with, and accept both in order to remember that we have the power, because we are that power, and we are that heart, and we are that spirit. So in Sanskrit, this sutra, which means in attaining power, one makes the universe one's own, is Balabde Vishwam Atmasat Karoti. Balabde Vishwam Atmasat Karoti. Balabde Vishwam Atmasat Karoti. In attaining power, one makes the universe one's own. So let's use this practice that we have to make the universe our own by connecting to the breath. When we can keep coming back to the breath and we can pause in those moments of stillness between the breaths, we remember our power. We remember who we are. When we can start to create space between the thoughts, we remember our power. We remember who we are. When we feel everything that's going on in our bodies and all of the tension and the tightness and either the yuck or the yum, we remember our power. We remember who we are. So let's do that together. And it sounds all cosmic and huge, but really it's just moment to moment, present moment awareness, and the practice of either noticing the judgment that you have and trying to love that judgment, or being grateful for the moments where you do feel like you are connected to something that feels a little bit lighter. But we've got to be able to accept the darker stuff too, okay? Because it's all love, it's all part of us, okay? Cool. So let's take our practice first on our backs. Now, you don't necessarily need any props, but I'm going to show you how to get into a restorative pose, and I'll play a little bit of the mantra for us. Okay, so when you come onto your mat, if you have blocks, you can use blocks, and I've got 2 blocks here, so feel free to use those, and you'll put one block under your head, and you'll put another block behind your shoulder blades. Now, if you do not have blocks, no worries. You can take your blanket, if you have a blanket, and you can roll it up, kind of like a big burrito. It's almost lunchtime, I'm feeling it. So you can roll your big burrito up and you can sit to your level. Some people say that they like to sit right up against their prop. I like to give a couple of inches of space between my prop and my back. And then you'll lay down so that your burrito runs the length of your spine. And then just wiggle around until you get comfy. Essentially, what we're trying to do here is to elevate the heart space and let the shoulders drop down a bit more. So we're coming into a gentle heart opener to open up the chest and the shoulders, but also when you're in this particular shape, you receive about 35% more oxygen when we do our breath work. Now, if you don't have a blanket, then you could grab a pillow and put your bed pillow lengthwise down your torso, or even horizontally underneath the shoulder blades. So this is another option. You could take a blanket or a pillow and just put it up underneath your shoulder blades, and oh yeah. So you see how my chest is lifted higher than my shoulders. So we'll start here. And take a moment as you start to get comfortable in this opening spot to make any movements or stretches that you want. Maybe you give yourself a hug, maybe you roll through your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders. Maybe you stretch through your legs, you can roll your ankles. Let's start by taking a few big deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, and you can exhale out. If you like, you might close your eyes or drop your gaze. We'll work with a 3-part breath. 3-part breath, or Dirga Pranayama. Dirga means long. We inhale into the lower, middle, and upper chambers of the lungs progressively, and it might feel like your belly and your ribs and your chest is expanding. Pause at the top in fullness. And as you exhale, release the breath from the top down. So release the upper, middle, and lower lungs, maybe feeling a softness through the chest and the ribs and the belly. And draw the navel back to finish the exhale and maybe linger in that space. Again, inhale from bottom to top. Pause at the top and hold the breath in. And then softly release through the mouth or through the nose, whatever feels most comfortable for you right now. Until the very bottom of the exhale, draw the navel back toward the spine. Inhaling, let it roll up. And exhaling, let it roll back down. Perhaps starting to add a little Ujjayi pranayama, inhaling. Pausing. Exhaling. And pausing at the very bottom. Continue inhaling. And exhaling. Continue your breath, breathing deeply up on the inhale and down on the exhale. And let every exhale help you to soften the physical body a bit more. Let every inhale help you to create more space. And I invite you to continue working with holding the breath in at the top of the inhale and down at the bottom of the exhale. Continuing your breath, I'm going to read from the Upanishads, which is ecstatic poetry based on the nature of our relationship, coming to know all the aspects of ourself and our connection to the divine. Continue your breath, inhaling up and exhaling back down. This is from the Atma Upanishad, and Atma means soul. The Supreme Self is neither born nor dies. Self cannot be burned, moved, pierced, cut, nor dried. Beyond all attributes, the Supreme Self is the eternal witness, ever pure, indivisible, and uncompounded, far beyond the senses and the ego. In the self, conflicts and expectations cease. All this is full. All that is full. Fullness comes and fullness goes. Taken from fullness, fullness still remains. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnam Udachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Visheshyate. At the end of your next exhale, just take a moment of gratitude, if you'd like, just for the simple gratitude that we are, in fact, alive right now and we have our health. Maybe a moment of gratitude and blessing for the health of your friends and family and loved ones. May we all be healthy and happy and free. And another way to connect to the self that is the universal power of love, consciousness itself, is by connecting with that sound vibration that is the destination of union itself. So Om, you may have heard, is the sound of peace. It is the sound vibration of peace, but it's also the place when we experience Om in our bodies, we're transported to that location of peace, Anandaloka, where we don't have to attain anything anymore. We just are. We just are love itself. So to connect with one another across the Wi-Fi waves here, and to connect with that universal source energy of pure love, I'll offer 3 rounds of Om, followed by 3 rounds of Om Shanti, 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 calling for and invoking peace and love for everyone. If you'd like to join, let's take a deep breath in. The divine presence within me, that unconditional universal love, recognizes and bows to that same unconditional universal love within you. And I remember that we're one. Namaste. Okay, everybody, slowly begin to move your props out from underneath you to come to lie on your back again. Okay? And as you do that, just take your time. You might end up rolling to one side, or you might sit up. And we'll begin our practice on our back to get into some gentle hip stuff and some shoulder stuff. So when you're ready, when you have nothing underneath you, coming down onto your mat, let your knees bend and have your feet on the floor, feet wide. The hands can rest on your body, maybe off your body, or maybe even up outside you, out to the sides or behind. Let's let the knees rock gently to the left and to the right, and let your breath guide you. So we worked with 3-part breath at the beginning of our practice. Now we're going to work with Samavriti Pranayama, which means equal inhale and equal exhale. So try as best you can to stay connected to the flow of the breath, knowing that yes, you'll get distracted, yes, you'll forget to breathe, but that's all part of the practice. So much like we acknowledge our trigger and we go into the feelings of fear that we have, we also acknowledge the times where we check out during our practice, because those are the practice. That is how we learn. That's how we grow, okay? So just as much as you can, keep trying to come back to the breath. When you experience your mind wandering, because that's what it does, come back to the acknowledgement of the breath. And if you like, something that works for me is using the meditation from Thich Nhat Hanh. which is to say to yourself, I know I'm breathing in on your inhale, and I know I'm breathing out on your exhale. And that just makes it neutral. Because some days are harder and you don't feel like, talking about love and light. You just want to be neutral. And that is a win. So please do whatever works for you on the day. Let's come back to center, and please take your right ankle up into the air and just roll through your foot, roll through your ankle, and we'll roll here in each direction. Keep your breath going. Full inhale and big exhale. You might feel comfortable breathing out through your mouth, which might feel like a release. And if you want to cultivate focus and strength and heat, you let your exhale move through your nose. Now, let's bring the right ankle on top of the left thigh. And if you want, you can just gently press your right leg forward here, or you can lift the legs up and reach for the left thigh or shin to pull in for figure four. This is a pigeon variation. You might rock side to side through the hips. You might move through the neck. But again, continuing to move to each exhale, creating some release. And if you're just joining us at any point, please say hi in the chat box. Makes me happy to see who's here. Makes me feel even more connected to you all when you write things in the chat box. When you're ready, let's take the feet up in the air and relax through the arms and just bicycle through the legs. You can continue that, or maybe you feel called to move around through your arms at the same time. Maybe everything is swimming. 2 more breaths moving if you'd like. Let's let it be free and organic, and then bring your arms and your legs up in the air, and you might roll your wrists while you're there. And then put your right foot back down on the ground and relax your arms, and let's roll the left ankle gently, wiggling through the toes. If you can yawn at any point, enjoy your yawn. What are your favorite little things? I love a good yawn and a good sneeze. So I feel like nice little releases for me. Okay, when you're ready, if you've gone in both directions, let's take the left ankle over the right thigh, and you can use your left hand to press your left leg forward, or pick up your legs and you can draw the right leg in at the thigh or over the shin. And we'll continue with some deep breaths here. Feel free to move through the legs. You might rock a little side to side here. And we'll be getting into a flowing practice in a moment that will get into the shoulders and into the hips. Those were Beth's requests. And if you all that have just joined have any requests, please type them in the chat box. And thanks for being here with me today. Okay, let's let the feet go up in the air. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, let's bring the knees out by the sides, and you can hold the calves, you can hold the shins, you can hold the outside edges of the feet for a gentle, happy baby. And then maybe you rock a little side to side. And then let's release the feet, bring the feet to the floor, scoot the hips to the right a little bit so that you can bring the knees over to your left, roll onto your left side, and then take the right arm back out for a nice big spinal twist, opening up through the shoulder. Maybe you move around at the elbow, moving it up and down if that's available. That's a huge shoulder stretch for me. Or maybe you make a circle with the right arm. Feel free to make your circle as big as you want to. You could wrap it around your body and trace a big continuous line if you want to. Take another breath in. And then as you exhale, come back to center, and let's scoot the hips a little to the left as we bring the knees to the right. And roll onto your right side, and then let your left arm reach back out and take some deep breaths. And Trisha mentioned that she hadn't done yoga in a while, so let's just enjoy remembering how good it feels just to do some gentle stretches. Honor yourself for taking this time for you today. I'm honored to be here with you. Now, after you've moved around through the shoulder to your liking, let's go ahead and just roll onto the right side and use your hands to press yourself up to a seat. Let's take the right leg in front of the left or on top, coming into a seated position. And I'm going to mirror you, so I'm going to be on the same side as you. Let's let the right hand come down, reach the left arm up and over for lateral flexion, but stay grounded through both sides of the pelvis. Inhale through center and exhale up and over to the other side, anchoring down through that right hip point as you lean to the left. Inhale to center and exhale to switch. Now just keep going side to side with your breath. And then let's rise up, reach your hands in the air, take a big deep breath in, draw the core in, and gently twist to your right as you exhale. You can let your right hand come behind you to lengthen your spine. The left hand can come to the outside of the right leg if you want, and then turn your head all the way to the right. Every inhale creates length in the spine, and every exhale spirals up and around to the right. So we are energizing the right side of the body, which represents our divine masculine energy, which is formless, unchanging, eternal, and it represents the pure consciousness aspect of who we are, our divine self. And on your inhale, return and reach up. And as you exhale, release the hands onto the knees and scoop the tail and lean back and drop the head, scoop, tuck the tail. Inhale. Bring the chest forward, roll the shoulders back, and exhale and round. Inhale, draw the chest forward, shoulders back, exhale and round. And then come up, and let's do some circles through the torso. So you can start to roll to your right, Anahata Kriya. So the Anahata is the space of your heart center, your energy center called Anahata. That means unstruck or unhurt, and it refers to that fullness that I was reading from the Upanishads at the beginning of class. Unhurt means that no matter what, your soul, your spirit, self can never be diminished, no matter what, no matter what. And unstruck refers to the unstruck sound. So the sound that created itself, that sound of Om. Let's come back to center. And then we'll switch our legs, and feel free to shake it out in the center. And then recross with the left leg in front or on top. I'm just marveling at all of the dog hair everywhere. And then let's find a comfortable seat. If you want to sit on a blanket, you can. Both sides of the pelvis are anchored. Hey, let's go side to side a few more times. Maybe as you move side to side now, it is a little bit more open and available to you. So keeping the sitting bones grounded, you might be able to come onto your forearm on one side. It's 11:11. Make a wish. Okay, let's rise. Inhale all the way up. Engage the core to protect the spine and twist left as you exhale. Continue your breath. Every inhale creates length and every exhale helps to soften. Now, notice this spiral of energy up and around to the left. So you have a central energy channel called the Sushumna Nadi. Now the upper left spiral around that central column is representative of divine feminine energy, which is Shakti, which is what we were talking about at the beginning of class. So this represents energy that is constantly changing and moving. This is who we are on a physical level, the body, the mind, and prana, life force energy itself. Now let's rise up. As you exhale, bring the hands down through the center, touch your heart in gratitude, bring the hands to the knees, scoop the tail round the spine, spinal flexion. Inhale, roll the heart open, draw the chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, scoop again. Inhale, open. And exhale and scoop. One more time. Inhale, heart opens. Exhale, scoop, draw in. Now find a neutral spine and then start to circle to your left. Anahata Kriya, just free movement here, locating all of the areas of the body that need a little bit more love so that you can tend to them throughout our practice. By the way, the word vinyasa just means to place in a special way or appropriate placement. So sometimes it does mean that we'll be going through namaskars, which often include push-ups and back bends, but it doesn't have to. Vinyasa is just to place in a special way. So let's find our way back up to a tall spine. Take one more sweep of the arms up as you inhale. And then exhale, bring the hands down. And as the hands move to the heart, let the crown of the head rise taller up toward the sky. Maybe take a moment here to cultivate your own intention. And then let's come to stand. So take your time moving to standing at the top of your mat. And we'll begin moving through some sun salutations. Okay, so let the feet be a couple of inches apart or all the way together, your choice. Standing tall in your mountain pose, your navel draws in toward the spine and your tail scoops slightly forward so that your low back is long. Roll the shoulders back, reach the arms up and inhale, maybe gaze to the thumbs if you want to, get as tall as you can. And as you exhale, soften the knees, engage the front of the thighs as you fold forward, knees can bend. Let the head drop all the way if you can, relaxing the neck, shaking the head, yes, no. Maybe shrug through the shoulders a few times. And inhale, bring the hands to the shins and lift your chest up to a flat back first. So let's go up really high. Draw the navel up under the ribs, scoop the tail slightly and fold forward as you exhale. Now inhale, step your left foot back. Bring the back knee down and pause as you inhale. As you exhale, let's step back, downward facing dog. So plant the hands strong, step both feet back. Take a full breath in and a big exhale. Inhale, move forward to plank. Exhale, lower the knees and lower the body in one piece. Draw the elbows back all the way to the floor. Now, send the legs back and anchor the tops of the feet. Push down to the tops of the feet and engage the upper legs and scoop the tail toward the heels. And as you do that, roll the shoulders back for Bhujangasana Cobra. Take an inhale as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, soften. Press up through table, tuck the toes under, spread the hands, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a full breath in and out. On your inhale, let's step the right foot forward. Bring the right foot all the way forward so that when you bring the left knee down, the right knee stays over the ankle. On your next breath, step forward and fold in. Half lift, inhale. Exhale and fold. Sweep all the way up to stand. Inhaling. As you exhale, let's come right back down again. Fold forward, engage the front of the thighs, knees bent as you fold. Drop the head, relax the neck. Then inhale. Half lift, hands to the shins, or you can keep the fingertips on the floor, look forward. Fingertips Go back as you exhale, step the right foot way back so that when you bring the back knee down, the left knee is over the ankle and not beyond the toes. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Take a full breath. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale on the knees or on the toes. Use all of your fingers and thumbs to help you lower to the floor, exhaling. Walk the legs back, anchor the tops of the feet. Slide the hands back 1/2 inch. Roll the shoulders back. Keep lengthening the low back, pubic bone toward the floor, core engaged. Exhale and lower the chest down. Downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Take a full breath in. And a big exhale out. Inhaling, step your left foot forward. Exhale, bring the back knee down and pause here for a breath. Take a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, step forward and fold. Take a half lift, inhale, hands to the shins or to the floor, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in again, Uttanasana, relax your neck. Now rise all the way up to stand, hands in the air. Maybe you take a back bend. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Now we're going to go through that a little bit faster. Please make sure that when you step into your lunges, that the knee stays over the ankle and doesn't go beyond the toes. So what I mean is, sometimes when we step back, it can be like the lunge ends up looking like this. See how my knee is way forward? Please try instead to be back here. Okay? All right, let's do it. Inhale, raise your arms, lift your chest. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step your left foot back. Back knee down. Take an inhale and enjoy your stretch. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. This time on the knees or on the toes, exhale through chaturanga, maybe hovering halfway. Inhale, press to the tops of the feet. Maybe lift off the thighs for upward facing dog. As you exhale, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. And a big exhale. Inhale, step your left foot forward. Back knee comes down as you exhale. Pause there for an inhale. Exhale, step forward. Top of the mat, fold. Sweep to rise, inhale all the way up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Half lift, inhale, look forward. Exhale, right foot steps back, back knee goes down. Take a full breath in. And exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale on the knees or on the toes, take an optional push-up. Inhale to your back bend, cobra, or upward facing dog. Engage the legs, engage the pelvic floor. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. And a big exhale. Inhale, right foot steps forward, back knee goes down as you exhale. Take another inhale, enjoy your stretch. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, standing on your feet. Let the insides of the feet be parallel to one another, and you can have your feet a couple of inches apart, or the big toes can touch if you'd like. Rise up through the arms. Let's bring the left hand onto the hip. Lengthen up through both sides of the body. Engage the inner thighs and lean over as you exhale. So the right arm is reaching over to the left, and you're supporting your whole posture with your left hand on your waist. You can press the hips to the right as you lean to the left. Option 2, reach up with your left hand and catch the wrist and lean over for Ardha Chandrasana, this half moon. Keep lifting up through the left ribs. Push down equally through both feet and see if you can go a little further. Inhale and rise up. Separate your feet. Exhale, reach back and either clasp the forearms, or you can clasp the fingers with the right thumb on top, or maybe you have a scarf in your hands. Let's bend the knees and fold forward, coming into Yoga Mudra, shoulder stretch. Relax your neck. Feel free to bend one knee and then the other. Feel free to turn through the neck. Let's take a big open mouth exhale with horse lips. Now soften the knees, release the hands, rise all the way up, inhale. And then exhale, step the feet together, hands to the heart. Inhale, rise up, palms touch. Exhale, right hand comes to the hips. Inhale up through both sides of the body. Exhale, lean over. Press the hips to the left as you lean to the right more. Maybe if you can keep the right side of the core working, you can reach up and grab the wrist and very gently pull. So notice how the whole body is supporting you here. You're pushing through the feet. You're hugging the inner thighs in so that you can engage the pelvic floor and draw the navel up to the ribs. Take another breath. Inhale, rise up, separate your feet. Exhale, reach back, clasp the left forearm on top, or clasp the fingers with the left thumb on top and fold in for Yoga Mudra if you want. You can drop the head all the way down. Deep breaths. On your next inhale, release the arms. Rise up, reach all the way up into the air. And as you exhale, step your feet together and bring your hands to your heart. We're coming into a balance pose here in honor of Earth Day called tree pose, Vrikshasana. So standing on your left leg, turn your right knee out, and you can keep your right foot kick like a kickstand, or you can lift it up to the calf, or anywhere but the knee above you. Now, imagine in your strong, solid tree that the eagle lands in its branches. Garuda. Garuda, one of the wise archetype forms of Vishnu, which is the preserver and protector of the universe. So Garuda arms, let the right elbow come under the left and you can just cross your eagle wings here. Or you can reach the arms toward one another. Or if you want, you can take the right hand to the inside of the left palm and hook your right thumb and right index finger around your left thumb. Now lift your elbows up. Notice if you're hanging out in your left hip, can you level the pelvis? And can you keep the energy moving up, up, and up? Engage the core and use your core to lift your rib cage up away from your pelvis. Feel the energy moving from your foot up, but then also from the crown of the head down. You equal parts feel grounded to the earth as a tree, but free as the air, as the eagle. Because we are both. We are all the elements. We are earth, water, fire, air, and space or ether all of the time. On your inhale, release your eagle wings. Stretch them out big. And as you exhale, bring the right knee forward and hold the shin and give yourself a hug. Now, let's sit back into your squat and take your right ankle over your left thigh. And then just get down as low as you can here in your figure four chair squat. If it's available to you to bring your hands to blocks or to the floor, you can do that. And let your neck relax. 3 more breaths. Just 1 more breath. Now soften the knees, push down into your left foot, rise to stand carefully, walk your hands up, send your right leg out to the right, and then step it behind and over to your left. We're coming into a sciatic stretch, so turn your heels out and turn your toes toward one another. Fly through the arms and inhale. And as you exhale, let's hinge at the hips, start to walk the hands down the legs, anywhere but the knees, hands to blocks or to the floor. Fold in deeply, let your neck relax. If you've got your hair pulled back really tight, consider taking it out and letting it be free. Feel free to walk your hands around to one direction or the other, just noticing all of the different stretches that you could get, all the different sensations. Okay, and then when you're ready, soften the knees, engage the inner thighs, and rise up. Let's sweep the hands in the air and inhale. As you exhale, step your feet right next to each other. Bring your hands to your heart. If you'd like, let's take a vinyasa. Inhale, arms up, lift the chest. Exhale, dive forward, folding over your strong legs, drop the head. Inhale, half lift, look forward. Exhale, step back to plank, and on the knees or on the toes, lower through your push-up, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. Now, just walk the hands and feet toward each other. And we'll roll to stand slow. Draw the navel to the spine, let the head be the last thing to rise. Feel free to sweep your arms up, why not? Hands to the heart, exhale, gratitude. And then we'll come into tree pose on the other side. So now your right leg is your tree trunk, and you can turn your left knee out. Feel free to keep your big toe on the floor. You can pull it up to the calf, or skip over the knee and draw it up to the inner thigh. Okay. Now, the leg is pushing into the foot and foot into the leg. You're feeling that connection pull in and up. Engage, move onto the pelvic floor lifts. Draw the navel toward the ribs, and then pull the ribs up by using the core. Now, remember your eagle. So you're in your tree, Vrikshasana. Feel the energy moving down toward the earth, to the core of the earth. Pull that love from the earth star up into your being. Then let's wrap the left elbow under the right, and you can just press the elbows into each other if you want, or start to bring the forearms to touch, or maybe the left palm holds the right thumb. Feel free to lift your elbows up. Feel how your upper body is floating. Feel how your low body is so stable. So from the navel, from our pranic center, from our dantian, which is just under the navel, feel the energy move down to the earth. Receive energy from the core of the earth up to your navel. Now feel energy move from the stars, from the galaxies, down from the crown of the head into the navel. And from the navel, reach out to the galaxies. Because we are of the earth, but we are also of the heavens. Take another inhale, release your arms. Exhale, bring your left knee forward. Give it a hug and pull it in. Little squeeze. Send it out, and behind your right leg, step it out to the side. And then you can walk your feet closer to each other. Heels can turn out and toes turn in. This is our sciatic stretch. Ease up on that left knee. Let it bend a little bit to help you go down. You can bring your hands to a wall or to your shins or to blocks or to the floor. And just fold in. And feel free to experiment with where the weight is distributed. Take one more breath. Bend the knees just a little bit to engage the inner thighs to rise up slowly. Take your time, raise your arms, inhale. As you exhale, just step your feet together. Bring the hands down to the heart. Okay, we're going to come into something that is so helpful and energizing for me. If you're experiencing vertigo or dizziness or any sort of digestive issues, or if you have uncontrolled blood pressure, just stand with us and breathe normally. Otherwise, we'll come into breath of joy. So it's an inhale, but you take 3 sips of the same inhale, imagining your lower, middle, and upper lungs filling up progressively, and then you exhale through your mouth and release it. So your feet are wide and your knees are soft. So if you'd like, let's try it together. Inhale, 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 exhale. Exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. 4, 3, 2, last one. Stand and let your arms relax. Feel free to just let yourself swing. There's one, excuse me, heel and then the other. Empty coat sleeves, just fling it around. Okay. Let's come into a yogic squat, malasana. So you can have your knees just right over your ankles. Knees face the same direction that your toes do. If you want, you can stay right here where you have your forearms on your thighs. And if you'd like, you can add that chair figure 4 that I just almost forgot. So let's stand up and do that. Okay, so your right leg is your tree trunk now. When you're ready, start to hinge at the hips. Take your left ankle over your right thigh and sit back. You can sit back into your foundation. Hands can stay at the legs. Or if you want to, you can start to walk the hands down to blocks or to the floor. Oh dear. Deep breaths here. Ooh. Okay, let's slowly start to walk up. And then release your figure 4 and let's sit down into malasana for real. So you can have your hands on your elbows on your thighs. You can have your elbows on your shins, or you could sit on blocks to just bring your hips back down. And feel free to put a blanket underneath your heels. Your heels might not be touching the floor. So sitting down here for a moment, really release the energy from your pelvic floor, from your anus, from your belly. Just soften it all down. Imagine gravity flowing through and down and out toward the floor. Just pull your energy down to the earth, to that grounding sensation of being held and comforted by a sweet, loving mother, Mother Earth in this case. And if you'd like, you can bring your right hand toward the floor and take your left arm up, taking a nice twist. But make sure that there's equal weight in both of your legs and that you're hugging in toward the midline. Inhale, hands back to center. Exhale, left hand down, right arm high. Take another breath. And then come back to center, and let's bring the hands behind so that we can come into our Baddha Konasana hip stretch. So if you'd like, you're welcome to sit on a blanket, but it is not necessary unless you just want to. So having a little bit of elevation for the pelvis sometimes feels nice. Bring your feet close in and just massage your feet. You might put blocks underneath your knees. Give yourself a nice foot massage there. Deeply breathing. And then when you're ready, you can start to lean forward, hinging at the hips. Woo. And you can decide how close the feet are to your groin. For me, if I bring the feet in real close, it feels better for my knees. For you, you might need your feet further away. So see what works for you. If you feel the sensation in your knees, then come out of it and bring your feet apart. Excuse me. We're starting to wind down in our practice now. So we'll be getting more deeply into the hips and into the shoulders as we prepare for Savasana, which is the end of our practice, our deep relaxation. And Savasana in Sanskrit means corpse pose. And it references the death of everything as we knew it to be so that we can step into what is and who we truly are now. Not who we were, not who we wish that we would be or could be or should be, but who we are, who is perfect, who is strong, who is beautiful, who is universal love itself. And let's slowly rise up. Let's scoop the knees in. And then if you're on a blanket, just scoot off of it. We're going to come down onto our back to do our Paschimottanasana. So if you'd rather be in your seat for Paschimottanasana, you can stretch your legs out and engage and lift the chest to bring your heart forward toward the feet. And if you want, you can come down onto your back and take your legs closer to you. This is feeling pretty nice for me, so I'm going to stay in a seat. But as much as you can, try engaging your core so that you're drawing the heart forward, kind of like cobra in the chest, a little bit of extension in the chest. And this helps to keep the spine safe. Okay, on your next inhale, let's release. Come down onto the back if you haven't yet as you exhale. And if you want to get a little sip of water before you come down, that's absolutely fine. So coming down onto the back, let's take a moment here. Come into your rest, into your ease, and then let's bring the feet onto the floor. So now we're coming into a reclining variation of eagle pose. So go ahead and cross your right thigh over your left, and then hug your legs in towards your chest. And you can hold the thighs, or you can hold one of your shins, or you might hold your feet and pull the feet toward each hip if you want to. Deep breaths. Now, if you're easily holding your feet and you want to try a different kind of hip stretch, you could hold your feet from underneath and you could lift them up away from your body and try to pull them in opposite directions so it'll feel like your legs are coming closer together. And this is reclining cow face pose now. Supta Gomukhasana. Feel free to rock with it. release the feet out to a big V. Reach to the insides of your legs and you can give yourself a little rub. And then we'll move into happy baby again. Bend the knees. You can reach to the outsides of the legs, or you can hold the bottoms of the feet or even the big toes. And then rock side to side if you want to. Playing, you can draw one foot in and then the other if you want. And then coming back to center, let's do that eagle pose on the other side. So release the legs and cross your left thigh over your right, and you can hug everything in. You're welcome to do a second wrap if you want to wrap that right foot around your left leg. But for me, it doesn't really feel great on my knees, so I'm gonna let it go. So you can hold either one of your shins. You can also hold the feet. You can pull the feet towards your glutes, or you could pull them up and out in opposite directions. See how that feels. And then maybe you rock a little bit side to side there. And then let's release it. Take the legs up in the air, bicycle around to the legs in an organic fashion. Then let's hug the right knee into the chest and let the left leg relax completely. Take a breath. Take that right leg over to your left in your last twist. You may have to scoot your hips back into the right a little bit more. Reach out through your right arm. Take a deep breath. And then come back through center, hug your left knee in, let your right leg stretch out. When you're ready, take it into Supta Matsyendrasana, bring the left leg toward the right, and feel free to stretch out through your left arm. Let's take deep breaths. Okay, everybody, we're coming now into our deep relaxation, into Shavasana. So if you want to cover up with your blanket, you can. If you want to prop your legs up the wall, you can. Legs up the couch. Feel free to get as comfortable as you possibly can. And we'll be doing our relaxation Shavasana, and then we'll be getting into chanting and meditation. Okay? So we'll rest here for about 5 minutes. So please enjoy as you like. Maybe your eyes close or your gaze softens. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. And let every exhale help you to feel more connected to the earth. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Starting to breathe more deeply into the body. Allow your fingers and your toes to wiggle. As you take some deep breaths, feel free to make your way slowly and comfortably into a seat. You can do this meditation lying down, but it's not recommended, as if you're in your seat, you have access to prana on all sides of the body, the front, the sides, and the back. So take your time moving into your own comfortable seat. And as you start to get comfortable, I'll give you the translation in English and Sanskrit of the mantra that we'll use. So we've been talking about recognizing our own heart, which means, to me, recognizing the God within ourselves and the God that we are and the source and the spirit that we are. And in Sanskrit, that is called Guru. And Guru is the one that brings us from darkness and into light. And that Guru, I think the highest Guru or teacher is our self. And by self, I mean the 5 layers of our being. Because this physical self, this body and this mind and this energy that always changes, is a great teacher, as well as the way that we, our physical selves, interact with other people and other creatures. That's a great teacher too. So that teacher of life helps guide us more deeply if we are committed to our practice and committed to really getting to know ourselves. Then we move from noticing and acknowledging and accepting and loving all of the darker shadow aspects of ourselves, the darkness, to move more into the light. And we're all beings of light, even and also because we have shadow, it's just as divine as the light. So the mantra is, I bow to the remover of darkness. I bow to the teacher within. Om Namo, Gurudev Namo. Dev or Deva or Devi means divine being. Guru is teacher, the teacher of life itself. If you'd like, you can sing after me, call and response style. 1 round, and then we'll do 2 rounds together. After this chant, we'll sit in silence just to receive all of the benefits together. And then we'll close our practice after that. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Your turn. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. All together. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Your turn. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Bhavde Vishwam Atmasat Karoti. In attaining power, one makes the universe one's own. We recognize the heart by taking control of what we have access to control, which is our self. Through these practices and the tools that we have through yoga, through breath work, meditation, and anything that helps us to connect to the present moment, we remember that we not only have the power to create our experience, but we are that power, and that everything is the universe itself and consciousness itself, and I think divine love. Thank you all for your beautiful practice. Let's return to the heart one more time by closing this sacred circle with one final Om. Let's take a deep breath in. And recognize and bow to the love that you are. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today and for our collective sacred space of reminding one another of the love that we share and the love that we are, and that we have the power to cultivate that love through present moment awareness. Thank you guys. I'm going to walk up to the screen up here, and if anybody wants to say hi, please feel free. I can see the screen now. So thank you everybody for coming. Thanks for practicing with me. If you like, you can subscribe to my channel. I do a live stream every Thursday from 10:30 to noon. And I'm asking that you pre-register. Donations are gratefully accepted, but if you can't afford to donate, I totally understand. So don't let that stop you. The link to donate will be in the show notes, and the link to register is as well. So I hope that you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day. And if you are just joining part of the way through, please say hi in the chat box so I can see you, and thank you for coming. I like knowing who's here. Thank you all. So Beth and Trisha, thank you for coming. Trisha, if you can find the chat box, say hi. Oh, thanks, Beth. Thank you so much. Namaste. Namaste, friend. Okay. Well, I'm going to go eat some lunch now. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you want to join me, I'll be on Dharma Drops Virtual Studio 3:30 to 4:45 for meditation, and then Wilmington Yoga Center's flow tonight. Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I've been really, I think we're all being confronted with our shadows right now. And, you know, it's a good time for us to really go back to the teachings and to review the sutras and to read the Upanishads and to let all of that guidance remind us that there's nothing to be afraid of within ourselves. It's all divine, because it's part of who we are. So that's been really helping me. So thank you for saying that, Beth. I really appreciate that. All right, let's have some lunch. I'll see you later. Peace and love, you guys. Namaste.